Welcome. This is Dr. K. I bring you another installment on Tell Me Dr. K, a channel on which we discuss matters of theological nature. Today I'm looking at a unique topic which I've not done on this channel before. I have been wondering, why is it that the United States of America has produced more cults than any other nation? If we take top 15 cults, at least 10 will come from America alone. You might find one or two in Europe combined, maybe one or two in China, maybe one in Japan. Then South Korea, we have one. But just imagine, many cults have originated from the United States of America. This is a two-part series entitled America, the Home of Cults. The first part will be looking at the most notorious cults are from America. So we'll look at these cults, when they started, who founded them, their major ideologies, and the negative impact that these cults have had on the American society and the world at large. The first cult that we are going to look at, a notorious cult, is called the People's Temple and Jonestown. This cult was founded in the 1950s by Jimmy Jones in Indianapolis. Afterwards, the group shifted to Guyana, where they established a Jonestown, which was supposed to be a utopian or perfect society. Now let's look at some of the terminologies that were used, or some of the belief systems of People's Temple and Jonestown. First, they believed in apostolic socialism. Now, apostolic socialism is a blend of Christian and Marxist ideologies. And this is where Jones positioned himself as a messianic leader who was called to fight against societal oppressions. Marxism focuses on class divisions. You have the workers, and then you have the business owners. And the business owners always are exploiting the workers who provide the labor. So Jones actually used that to spiritualize it, where he blended Christian and Marxist ideologies together. And the goal of this ideology is to fight societal oppression. Jimmy Jones was actually called Father, and therefore he saw the Jonestown in Guyana as a promised land. What was the negative impact of People's Temple and Jonestown? So Jones exploited people's fear for racism and inequality to isolate followers. He took advantage of people who were afraid of racism and also who were disadvantaged, who were suffering from inequality. He isolated them, gave them hope, and people thought they had found a solution to their problems. Unfortunately, in 1978, 900 people drank poison punch, and others who refused to do that were forcibly poisoned. What lesson do we learn from this? And what lesson should America learn from these devastating effects? This shows us how dangerous cults are in taking advantage of people, isolating them, and then exploiting them. Every cult actually bears those characteristics. It looks for people that meet particular characteristics, particular psychology, then isolates them, makes them to feel special, and after doing that, they are then exploited after they've developed confidence in this charismatic cult leader. Let's look at the second cult, and the cult is called the Manson Family. Now, the Manson Family started in the late 1960s, and it was started by a man called Charles Manson. Now, this is not to be confused with the Freemasons. This is a totally different cult that Charles Manson developed. So he created a community-like group in California during the counter-revolution that was taking place in America in the 60s. What are the beliefs and terminologies used in the Manson family? The most important terminology that was used is called the hater-skater. Now, this word hater-skater came from the song of the Beatles, which he misinterpreted. It means disorder and confusion, or a state of chaos, disorganization, and hurried activity. So Manson misinterpreted the Beatles song to use it as a prophecy of the impending doom that was yet to come. And this impending doom that was to come was an apocalyptic racial war, which he sought to hasten or to quicken through violence. He listened to this song by the Beatles, and for him, he looked at the song as a prophecy. There was going to be an impending racial war, which would take place through chaos and violence. And as far as he was concerned, for a hater-skater to take place, he needed to quicken it. And how did he quicken it? By promoting violence. If you are enjoying this program, don't forget to like, subscribe, and strike the notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. And then you can choose whether to watch it or not to watch it. So the group called itself the family, and it entailed breaking away from society and committing or vowing devotion to Manson. The group called themselves the family, symbolizing their break from mainstream society and devotion to Manson. This is another cult that also led to catastrophic events. In 1969, it led to cruel murder of actress Sharon Tate and others. Now, these killings actually shocked people and made them to realize that delusional beliefs can lead to atrocities. The other terminology that was used in this cult was called psychological dynamics. Manson targeted disgruntled youths that were disillusioned with society, youths that were looking for meaning in life, and those are the ones that he targeted, gave them a sense of purpose and meaning. And as mentioned in my introduction, he exploited these youths to his own advantage. He used drugs and emotional manipulation to be able to control their will so that they could do whatever he wanted them to do. Let's go to the third cult, which is called Heaven's Gate. Now, the Heaven's Gate was founded in the 70s by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. Now, this group combined Christianity and UFO-centric beliefs. Let's look at the beliefs and terminologies used. One of the key terminologies they used was the next level. Now, the next level is a state of existence beyond the earth, accessible only through spiritual purification and escape from materialism. And so these people looked at their bodies as vehicles that could be discarded for spiritual ascension. In other words, their bodies, there was just something they could use, they could discard, and once they discard it, then they would be able to ascend to the heaven gate. Members describe their bodies as vehicles meant to be discarded for spiritual ascension. Let's look at the negative impact of this cult. In 1997, 39 members committed mass suicide to board an alien spacecraft supposedly trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. And again, we can see how a charismatic leader can take advantage of people's vulnerabilities to be able to exploit them. Imagine people to go to the extent of self-harm. This is how dangerous charismatic leadership in wrong doctrine is to society, particularly to individuals that are vulnerable, individuals that are isolated, disillusioned, and individuals that are suffering from inequality. Let's go to the fourth cult, and that is called Scientology. What are its origins? L. Ron Hubbard founded Scientology in 1953, framing it as a spiritual self-help movement. Terminologies and beliefs. First is called the Thetan. This is the immortal spiritual essence of a person burdened by past traumas. The next terminology used was auditing. Now, auditing was a counseling process intended to clear these engrams or memory traces and achieve higher spiritual awareness. So, these people had to go through auditing. And through this process of auditing, they would be able to clear the engrams, and this will elevate them or enable them to achieve higher spiritual consciousness. The dangers of Scientology. Allegations of abusive practices, including financial exploitation, harassment of critics, and coerced labor. Now, this cult was able to survive because it had a strong, aggressive legal defense, but also it has had endorsements from key celebrities that have more or less given legitimacy to this cult. Remember, this video is in 2 parts. For part 2 of this video, click on this link.